Just ahead on CTV News.
There have been 2 recently confirmed cases of measles in the state of Maryland, and one of those cases comes from a member of the school behind me. I'm Bryce Parker. We'll have that story and more coming up on CTV News.
And federal officials say the Key Bridge collapse could have been prevented.
Concerns grow as President Trump moves forward in dismantling the U.S. Department of Education. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have all those details coming up on CTV News.
Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for March 21st. I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. 2 more cases of measles have been confirmed in Maryland. CTV's Bryce Parker is in Oxon Hill with the latest.
So that's right, we're here in front of John Hanson Montessori School in Oxon Hill, where Superintendent Millard House II has informed us that one of the 2 recent confirmed cases of measles in the state of Maryland comes from a member of this school. Now, it is uncertain if the member is a student or a faculty member, but we do know that both of the people who have contracted measles recently in Maryland traveled internationally together.
Now, these 2 cases are unrelated to the confirmed case of measles in a Howard County resident earlier this month. Health officials are warning residents across the DMV region that if you were at any of the following locations at the following times, you may have been exposed. Starting with Dulles Airport Concourse A and baggage claim on March 15th from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Next, Kaiser Permanente Largo Medical Center on March 5th, March 13th, March 15th, and March 17th at the following times on your screen. Reagan National Airport Bus Terminal on March 14th from noon to 2:30 p.m. Washington Area Metro Transit Yellow Line train to Mount Vernon Square from Reagan National to L'Enfant Plaza, and then a Silver Line transfer from L'Enfant Plaza to downtown Largo on March 14th from 12:15 p.m. to 3:15 p.m. And last, Passport Toyota in Suitland on March 17th from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Health officials also want to remind you that measles is a highly contagious disease that can become airborne through breathing, coughing, and sneezing. If you have any measles symptoms, you are advised to isolate yourself and visit a primary health care provider.
Now, as for the Prince George's County Public School System, Superintendent House informed us that any student or faculty member who contracts measles will be excluded from in-person class instruction or work for 21 consecutive days from their confirmation date. In Oxon Hill, I'm Bryce Parker, CTV News.
Thank you, Bryce. And health officials say measles symptoms can lay dormant for 7 to 14 days after exposure. And the Bowie Senior Center has canceled classes and trips for the last week due to an outbreak of COVID-19. The center says the outbreak is ongoing and all activities outside of doctor's visits and grocery store trips will be canceled. The center could not say how many cases it had, but it urges those who have recently been at the facility to monitor your symptoms and consider getting tested for COVID-19. Well, on Thursday, Maryland's top Democrats unveiled their budget agreement. Today, they defend their choices. Governor Wes Moore and leaders in the General Assembly said their budget framework eliminates the $3.3 billion structural deficit and turns it into a surplus. It does that in part by reforming the state's tax code and introducing new taxes on the most wealthy and on data and IT services. Today, Senate President Bill Ferguson defends lawmakers' choices, rejecting the idea that taxes on tech services would repel businesses from the state.
I think it's short-sighted to think that tax rates are the only things that are going into the decision about where to locate and grow. Do they matter? Of course, they matter on the margins. But creating a strong community that's safe, that has a great infrastructure, that has a great workforce, that's the most important. That's what every business leader says that they want.
And Republican former Governor Larry Hogan reacted to the budget online, saying the tax hikes would cripple Maryland's economy and already struggling Marylanders. And a bombshell warning from federal investigators who say the deadly collapse of Baltimore's Key Bridge could have been prevented. Nearly a year after the cargo ship Dolly hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge and caused its collapse and the death of 6 people, federal officials say the Maryland Transportation Authority never conducted a risk assessment, one that would have found the bridge was at high risk for collapse from a vessel strike. Now the NTSB is urging the review of dozens of older bridges that were built before modern safety guidelines.
Had the MDTA conducted a vulnerability assessment of the Key Bridge based on recent vessel traffic, the MDTA would have been able to proactively identify strategies to reduce the risk of a collapse and loss of lives associated with a vessel collision with the bridge. A risk level above the acceptable threshold doesn't mean a collapse from a vessel collision is an absolute certainty. Likewise, a bridge design with a risk level below the acceptable threshold doesn't guarantee that a collapse from a vessel collision won't occur. What we are telling bridge owners is that they need to know the risk and determine what actions they need to take to ensure safety.
And the NTSB also revealed that the state still hasn't completed a risk assessment for the Bay Bridge. And President Donald Trump is fulfilling a campaign promise that could drastically change the federal government's role in the American education system. That promise would put the U.S. Department of Education on the chopping block and move some of the agency's educational responsibilities to the states. CTV's Katara Jones is standing by with everything you need to know.
The future of education in the United States could radically change if President Trump gets his way. The president signed an executive order yesterday that calls for the elimination of the U.S. Department of Education. Now, if Trump is successful, how will his action impact education here in Prince George's? CTV News chatted with Teresa Mitchell-Dudley, a current county teacher and a member of the Prince George's County Educators Association.
Personally, I had a hard time sleeping the night before last when I heard on the news that was going to happen yesterday.
With a signing of an executive order, the president's plan to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education is well underway. However, this can't happen without congressional approval. The Trump administration says it plans to preserve Title I funding, which is federal money that goes to low-income schools. Despite this, Mitchell-Dudley says she's still concerned about the potential changes to Title I funding for the county school system. Here in Prince George's, the county school district has more than 100 Title I schools.
George's County relies very heavily on Title I funding. And those Title I funding, that Title I funding is important because we have so many schools that receive it. And there is a correlation between the blueprint for Maryland's future and Title I funding. Title I funding being taken away or cut, that means that we will have less teachers because we have some teachers who are funded through Title I that do additional support in the building. They do pullouts, they are reading recovery teachers or other influences in the building.
Mitchell-Dudley says she's also worried about the impact of Trump's plan could potentially have on the county's special education students, English language learners, and the educators that support them. Now, it's important to note that the Trump administration plans to also protect funding for students with disabilities. She is also concerned that Trump's action could lead to resegregation of schools across the United States. CTV News will continue to keep you updated on how Trump's order will impact you and your family. Back to you, Mariah, at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Katara. So far, the U.S. Department of Education has laid off about 1,300 employees. And a federal judge checks Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency's powers by blocking their access to Social Security systems. A district judge agreed with labor unions and retirees who said Doge's unlimited access to millions of Americans' personal data posed a major security risk. They also said it violates privacy laws and could expose sensitive data. The judge's order also requires the team to delete any personally identifiable data they may have already collected. And federal aid cuts push Afghan refugees in Maryland toward homelessness. Thousands of Afghan refugees in Maryland are struggling to pay rent after federal resettlement funding was cut earlier this year. Faith-based groups like Lutheran Social Services say they've also lost critical federal dollars, forcing layoffs and service reductions. Many refugees, including those who worked for U.S. agencies in Afghanistan, now face eviction. Advocates warn the crisis could leave hundreds without housing as aid groups scramble to raise funds.
We usually, in the past, paid rent for about 3 to 6 months, depending on the family. And so we would support rent largely through the federal grants and cooperative agreements we have with the federal government for 3 to 6 months. And that's about the time we saw it took families to become self-sufficient. I am concerned, one, because right now we're not able to keep up with those rent payments as easily with the loss of funds. And two, because of the job market, I am concerned it will take longer.
And legal challenges are underway, but refugee agencies say time is running out to prevent widespread displacement. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad. Still to come.
Hey guys, I'm in the studio and I'm being joined by the Bell twins. We'll show you a couple of stretches that you can do right from home. Stay with us.
I wish people knew that when you live in a small town like mine, it's much harder to find friends with common interests, especially ones my age. I often feel really alone.
Same here. Seems like every time we finally settle somewhere, I have to pack up and move again. By the time I make a friend, a real friend, I have to say goodbye to them.
I totally get it. I live in a big city, but it can feel just as lonely. It's tough, but it gets easier.
Honestly, I totally get what you're going through. It's nice to know that you feel the same.
You enjoyed my story. I really enjoyed your story as well.
Welcome back. The City of Bowie's Youth and Family Services is hosting its 11th annual Young Adult Job Fair. The goal of the fair is to help connect local employers with 16 to 24-year-olds seeking summer, part-time, or full-time employment. We caught up with an event organizer to discuss what young adults can expect.
So we have local City of Bowie, Prince George's County, Anne Arundel County is represented, and the state of Maryland, and the federal government. So we definitely have a wide variety of employers at the job fair. On site at the job fair this year, we're going to have a separate workshop. It'll be ongoing throughout the hours of the job fair. We have professionals that'll help you create a resume if you don't have one, and help you with your interview skills and just the skill of walking through a job fair, shaking hands, talking to people, in the eye that young kids might not have a lot of experience with. So we will have workshops going on to help you prepare for that.
And that career fair will be held this Saturday at the Bowie Gymnasium from 9 in the morning to 1 o'clock. No registration is required. For more information, visit the Youth and Family Service page at cityofbowie.org. And our Prince George's County Spelling Bee champion has been crowned, and the winner is 11-year-old Abigail Adegbite of Heather Hills Elementary School. Abigail competed against 21 other county students at the University of Maryland on March 14th. And the word that Abigail correctly spelled that led to her victory was fluoride. She will now represent Prince George's County in the Scripps National Spelling Bee, which will take place from May 26th through the 29th. Good luck, Abigail. We'll be watching at home. And March Madness is in full swing, but the Maryland Attorney General's office says watch out for scams and illegal betting. If you're making bets on games, be sure to only use licensed operators. Avoid pop-up ads and unsolicited messages that could link to fraudulent sites. Remember, there is no such thing as a risk-free bet. always read the fine print. If you've been targeted by a scam, report it to the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division. And another target for scammers, thousands of laid-off federal workers on the hunt for new jobs. The Better Business Bureau says fraudulent job listings are becoming more sophisticated. Experts say scammers are posting fake jobs on trusted websites like Indeed, offering fake promises of flexibility and remote work. They're especially targeting young job seekers ages 18 to 34. Employment scams now rank as the second riskiest scam, with average victims losing $1,500. Be cautious and verify job offers before applying. But if you're losing sleep over it, you may want to turn to the TikTok trends, where millions of people are taking magnesium, drinking cherry juice, and even taping their mouth shut, all in pursuit of better sleep. Sleep maxing is the newest trend describing life hacks that can maximize or improve sleep quality or quantity. Some of those hacks include wearing a sleep mask, using a white noise machine, or stretching before bed. And here to give us a stretch workshop are the Bell twins. CTV's Michaela Newton is with them in the studio to tell us how we can level up our flexibility.
Hey guys, well this is not another Fit and Focus segment. In fact, I'm actually joined with the Bell twins. I have Alicia and Ashley here with me. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys.
Hello.
All right, so tell me a little bit about how you guys got started and where can we find your business?
So we are stationary in Fitness for Less Bowie, and that's in Bowie Gym. We also do our privates and our group sessions there.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about what made you want to get into becoming stretch coaches.
Yeah, so we grew up doing gymnastics, so that was our sport that it was embedded in our sport. So we had to make sure that we elongated our muscles in order to perfect our skills. And every time we did those things, that we had to make sure that we were recovering well, making sure that our bodies was well taken care of.
Perfect. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing today.
So we're going to be doing active flexibility routine and a range of different types of stretches.
Awesome. So let's get started.
Let's get started. So we're going to start with a nice warm-up.
Okay.
You're going to start with your feet shoulder width apart, and you're going to start with your palms facing to the ceiling and go all the way back. Give me 3 of them.
All right.
Look forward, stationary. You do not want to duck your head. That creates bad posture. And one more. Good. Now you're going to reach up all the way tall, and you're going to do a nice flat back looking in between those hands to create that nice elongated spine, and go back up. And you're going to do one more time. Hold and go down to the floor. You're going to go as far as you can with those knees straight. Now, if those knees start bending, I'm going to give you the block. There we go. We're going to hold for 3. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. 2. And back up. You're going to finish it all the way up. Nice. Now we are going to turn out those nice toes diagonally, and you are going to squat down. So Ashley, you are going to show Michaela how to do it. There we go. Now you're going to sit that bottom back a little bit here, and you're going to squat your bottom all the way down. Okay. Good. Yeah, just open wide a little bit. Good. And look forward. Get those heads up, and you're going to straighten those legs all the way. Nice. Good. And squat back down. And straighten those legs. We need some movement for those mobility. And back down. And hold 3, 2, 1. Now you're going to take it all the way to the ground. You're going to do that nice hip flexor stretch. So let's put our left leg in front this time. There we go. And you are going to go scoot that front foot forward so that your toe is in front of your knee. Make sure that back foot is nice and straight, and push forward, chest up, look in front. There, and now you're gonna straighten that front leg and flex that toe all the way up to the ceiling, just like that. Good, and let's get some movement. So now we're gonna go back to the lunge. Whew. I know. Good, 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 and nice. Go back to that straight leg. Okay. You got it, come on. You got it, and hold, 3. Flex that toe this way. There we go. 2, and 1. Now you're gonna take, of course you always have to do the other leg, but we are not gonna do that right now. We are gonna do nice and go straight to your seal stretch. You're gonna point those toes in the back. And you're gonna round the spine, and you're going to open those nice shoulders and look in between those hands and go back to the nice seal stretch. and round that spine again. Open those shoulders, and let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're gonna come out of that nice stretch. You are going to roll your head 3 times to the right and the left. Take your time and go. Big circles. Yep, drop those shoulders. Yep.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to toss it back to you, Mariah, at the desk.
All right, thanks, Michaela. That looks so relaxing, or like the perfect warm-up for a good workout. For more information on the Bell Twins or to see more stretching techniques, visit their Instagram at @thebell_twins. Still to come on CTV News, a new season means new sales are underway. After the break, find out how Amazon is helping customers save money this spring. Back in a moment.
That first time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. Being present is the most important part. To be the better mirror for my son. Bro, he brings the vibes, you know what I'm saying? He brings the party no matter what. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody. And I love him to the death of me.
Well, we have a new food recall alert, and if you're a fan of beef sticks, you might want to listen up. On your screen are the Idaho Smokehouse ready-to-eat beef sticks. The company is recalling nearly 30,000 pounds of the product as they may contain pieces of metal. The USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service received 2 customer complaints, but no injuries have been reported at this time. Anyone who has bought this product is urged to throw it away immediately. And a local grocery store chain is shutting its doors at one location and opening up a new one right down the street. Giant will host a grand opening next Friday, March 28th, of its new location at 810 Fairmont Drive in Bowie. The day before, it will be closing its former Bowie location at 3500 Crane Highway. The new store will introduce the chain's 50th in-store Lido's Pizza and has partnered with Ben's Chili Bowl to bring comfort food to customers. Again, that new store is set to open next Friday at 6 a.m. And calling all online shoppers, Amazon Prime is celebrating the start of spring with some discounts. Between March 25th and the 31st, customers can enjoy discounts on beauty products, travel goods, home goods, tech products, and more during their big spring sale. The biggest deal will be 50% off Amazon Haul purchases, which is a new section in the Amazon app that offers products under $20. The sale is open to all Prime and non-Prime members. Yep, that's right, spring has sprung. And if you're looking to enjoy the spring air this weekend, don't worry, because Brittany Aaliyah is back with another segment of What's the Move?
Spring is finally here. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. So to me, spring equates to warmer weather, and also we're about to be outside. So if you need some moves to make, I got you covered. Don't worry, I got you. So tonight at 7 p.m., the Wizards are defending home court against the Orlando Magic at Capital One Arena. But what I really want to talk about is the post-game concert. Now, I heard these concerts are actually pretty good, and it continues tonight with Shaq, aka DJ Diesel. Shaq has been a relatively popular EDM DJ for quite some time now, so I'm sure it's going to be a good vibe. But just remember, don't go anywhere after the game. Just don't go anywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna switch it up a bit and talk about a dear friend of mine, someone who's been killing the comedy game for years. You know him as Ashley Larry from The Chappelle Show. He's also been on The Wire, BMF, and Soul. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about DMV's very own Donnell Rawlings. He's hitting the stage at the Baltimore Comedy Factory tonight at 7 p.m. and he'll be here through Sunday. So don't miss him because, let me tell you, Donnell is a straight fool and will leave you in stitches. Now, what if I told you tomorrow's gonna be a beautiful day to just hang out with the entire family? How about at the Prince George's Stadium? Well, the annual Bowie Bay Sox Family Fun Fest returns tomorrow, and it's a fun-filled day, guys. So get ready. There's going to be free rides and inflatables. There's going to be carnival-style games, face painting, live music, and not to mention, it's free. We love a good free event, right? So bring the entire family out. And lastly, what screams it's springtime more than the cherry blossoms? I am so ready for peak bloom, but while we wait, why not kick it off with the Cherry Blossom Festival? It starts tomorrow with the opening ceremony at the Warner Theater. This is such a beautiful and artistic celebration that you don't want to miss. I mean, it should be really nice now that I think about it. Once again, happy spring, my friends. Warmer and brighter days are upon us, so get ready for more events around the DMV. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week on What's the Move?
All right, thanks, Brittany. Definitely want to take advantage of this beautiful weather this weekend. And don't go away, Simon Buggs is here to give us a sneak peek into our Friday sports page.
What's going on, sports fans? I'm here at the Xfinity Center where I got the chance to talk to head coach Brenda Freeze and some of the players about their upcoming March Madness tournament game. Stay tuned to find out what they had to say. Be right back.
My opponent is completely disregarding almost half of my arguments which I responded to.
Communities must step up
Laws
and
alone
protest
cannot
against this
stop a
normalizing.
bullet.
Well, I completely disagree.
Point of inquiry, do you guys even realize that the #1 killer of children and teens are gun injuries?
You're probably starting to realize now, this is not a debate.
There is no adult in this earth that wants children to die.
I worry for my kids.
What's going on, everybody? It's time for your Friday sports page. The UMD women's basketball squad is gearing up for their first game of the March Madness tournament. And the Lady Terps will be staying in their own backyard as the team will be playing the opening round right here in the Xfinity Center. I caught up with head coach Brenda Freeze and some of the players earlier, and they told me how they're feeling going into the big game.
The feeling never gets old. It's like kind of a kid in a candy store. You're just, so excited. You're ready to get going. I know for us, like not playing until Saturday, it's a long week, and you're watching all the men's and women's games unfold, but we are truly ready.
I think I'm really excited. I think all of us are. I think we had a really good season leading up to this. We're really confident. But I think, going into the first couple rounds, it's just super exciting. We have really good energy, being able to host, have our fans, so we're really excited.
I mean, this morning I was like, this is like exciting. Like it's coming right around the corner. I mean, if I look back a couple years, I feel like I wouldn't have imagined being here. I feel like it's such a blessing to be here and play with my teammates. I love them so much, and have my first tournament with them is going to be special.
Norfolk State will be coming to College Park to match up against Maryland in the opening round. And the game won't be an easy one as the Lady Spartans are a very talented squad.
Yeah, just offensively taking care of the ball. They force a lot of turnovers, so we need to make sure we're protecting the ball, getting out and running, making them take tough shots on offense. I think those are like the main successes for us, our main keys for us to be successful, I guess. Yeah.
Definitely, like, they're a very hardworking team. Like, they don't give up on plays, and as well as, like, they're really fast in transition. So it's just a matter of trying to stop the ball as quickly as we can, and also make sure that we utilize the possessions because they can really capitalize off of turnovers.
Now, there are so many talented teams in the tournament that the Lady Terps may be overlooked. But Sellers gave her thoughts on why her squad is one to look out for.
I love being the underdog. I've taken note of everybody who has counted the Terps out, again, whether that's getting upset by Norfolk State. Green Bay's getting disrespected a lot. So whether that's us losing the second round, nah. I gotta say nah because, we went out to the Big Ten tournament, didn't show out. We're walking in with a chip on our shoulder, and we prove people wrong time and time again.
And that wraps up your Friday sports page. From College Park, Simon Buggs, CTV Sports. Back to you, Mariah.
Thanks, Simon. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again Monday. Good night.